Hi everyone and welcome to the Franknet Sewing Machines YouTube channel once again. My name is Lucy, I'm the shop manager here, and you may have seen our video the other week of the unboxing of the new Brother Luminaire XP1. What we're going to do now is have a look at some of the, in a bit more detail, on some of the sewing features that are available on this model. We're going to do a few parts on this because obviously there's so much to take in. So let's have a look at the sewing side first of all. We've got to start somewhere. I'm going to thread up first of all using the brand new integrated double cone spool stand. Means obviously you can use the lovely big reels of thread and carry on quilting or away without kind of having to worry about changing smaller spools down here. So coming down through this little thread guide from right to left and around here. This is the same system that we know and love. So I just need to open up that section there, make sure that's all gone into the check springs, lovely, and down the front. And using the super duper needle threader, it really is, you can do this nearly with one hand. Perfect. And if you use the trimmer on the actual threader, it does mean that it pulls it all the way through, it doesn't even just make a loop. Let's take off the projection for now because we'll have a look at that in a moment. Okay. Bobbin system, drop-in bobbin system that that Brother have always had, and that's very straightforward. Bobbin winder as well, also really easy to use, just the same as most of the other models that they have in the range. We'll have a look at the new pen. So we've got the new touchscreen pen, which is also a sensor pen as well, so it's got a hard tip and a soft tip for, this is for using the projector, and this was for using a screen. It's a capacitive screen now, so that means that you can use your finger, but you need to use this pen as well. You can't use the hard tip, it won't actually recognise it at all. But it means now we've got scrolling features that was easy to use. It's more like it's a bit like your phone really, or an iPad. We've got pinch and to zoom and things like that as well, but we'll have a look at that shortly. So stitch selection wise, there's all the stitches that we want, plus loads of more decorative ones as well. So just press OK there. So here we've got a huge range of the oversized stitches that can go outside of that normal stitch area. And now what's changed is if we do select a stitch, on the older models it would actually kind of automatically put you into combination mode, but here what stitch you get is the one you get continuously, which is really nice. And if you do want to add stitches together, you can use the plus button here. So if I was to put that there, and then let's pick one that would match up with this quite well, maybe the snowflake, and then I can add onto there, and that's how we now get into that combination mode. And I can then go out of that by pressing that button and then going back into continuous stitching. So that's a nice change. I think it makes much more sense. With the wide stitches as well, there's some amazing, they can go up to 58mm now, so it makes quilting kind of even easier. I think there's some down here that are particularly impressive. Let's see how wide this one goes up to. That one's 24. The new thing that we can actually do on this as well, instead of just adjusting the width and the length individually, if we go up to here, our stitch menu is now tidied away up in this section, so we're able to link the width and the length together. That means the ratio will stay the same. So if I increase that, the whole design is going to increase proportionally. That is also a new feature on here, which makes it really just easier to get it looking correct as you wanted it to be. Yeah, so let's have a look at the luminaire section of this machine, which means light. So the projector, this is fabulous. So if we go to that bit there, that conical shape thing, that's going to dull the rest of the machine down and project onto here. So if I get some material, we'll then be able to actually see. So there we go. So there's the design that we've got on screen at the moment, and using our sonic pen here, we can adjust on here. So if we minus that and plus on the length, we get an instant indication of exactly what we're going to get. You can use the screen at the same time as this. So if I've got this vine pattern on at the moment, if I wanted to change that to a different stitch here, I can actually just directly select it on my screen, and then it's going to pop up on my fabric. Brilliant. Let's get some of the larger quilting stitches that I found earlier that looked they were really good. Some nice big curls and swirls. There's so many to choose from now. It's brilliant. So, oh, these are cute here. Bunnies and bears. You can see that on there. Let's see how wide that one goes. And again, because we've got that linked ratio there, they're going to expand within the ratio, which is really nice. So that stays on until you kind of tell it to turn off, if you like. I think it was here. Yeah, so some of these stippling ones, these go up to the kind of really making the most of this stitch width that we do have now available. So we can see on there that it is a really lovely wide stitch. We can change the colour of this projection as well. So on screen here we've got the little spool, so if we touch that, that changes it then to, well, it's black on there but it comes up green on the fabric, a yellow. This one seems to work quite well actually on a lot of materials to be able to see it in a better view for you. So that's new for this machine, and then in blue as well. So let's have a look at this stitching out, because this is a really lovely design. Let's make it as wide as we possibly can because it's very impressive. This is one of the ones that goes up to 58 millimeters, and so we can see there exactly where we're going to get. So especially with these multi-directional ones, you don't want to be too close to an edge, so being able to project this now onto your material is a brilliant idea, because this would be fabulous for borders and things like that. So if we lower our foot down, and then we're ready to go. So I'm just going to got it set on kind of a medium speed here. With the wide stitches now, we never used to be able to adjust the speed, but now we can actually adjust them. So all I've got to concentrate is just keeping the fabric kind of parallel. I'm sure this bit can be speeded up by the power of James's editing skills. But as you can hear, the machine really is particularly quiet. It's the motor on here. It sounds lovely when you're actually stitching. I'm just going to let that come to the end of its pattern there, and we're going to have a look at the camera. So we've got this set to that hover at the moment, but I'm actually just going to trim that off and bring the fabric away, just so we can have a look at the stitching as well. Really lovely on here. And if we have a look at the camera, because what we often want to do is kind of start from kind of where we were on the XV. We've got the needle drop position, but because we've got this extended area now, the camera, which is up here, it's extended its area of visibility. So if we you've got to take off the projector, then you've got to go into the camera, and then if we then tap that screen again, we've then got a really large view of our sewing area, and the resolution has been much improved as well. So if I touch the needle drop position there, oh yeah, it wants us to lower the presser foot for that to be able to give an indication. Press that again. So there we can see our needle drop position. I want to start exactly where I left off, so I want to get kind of seamless link between my stitches here. So I'm going to use my knee lift, because that means that I can actually raise this up a little bit and move my material around, and I can then get an exact position for my needle dropping, and I can adjust that and be really nice and precise. And then I'm going to actually just secure that just by using the securing stitch, and then I'm going to start off sewing again, and this should have a nice seamless link. We can just stop that there. Not bad at all. If I actually trim that bit away, got some scissors here. Obviously with a bit of time you'll be able to actually kind of link things really easily using that much more extended camera area. Okay, so that's kind of decorative stitches. What we're going to look at now is the projector using the grid lines. So for really precise patchwork work, we're thinking this is going to be really, really useful for you. So if we go back to utility stitches, we're okay to delete that. Obviously any adjustments that you make you can save into the memory. It's just literally press memory and then everything's saved there. So got straight stitch there. I'm then going to pop on the this is kind of what we had before, our laser guide. I'm going to turn that on and then that should appear on here. There we are. What's great about this now is that we can, so this is our main line, we can change the colour of it as well, so whatever fabric you're working on you're always going to be able to see it. If I then go to the subline here, and I can put that on, yeah, we've got that all on, so we've got, there we go, so we can then adjust our angle. This is really nice, so I don't know if you want to have a look at this. If we go down to say 45 degrees, it's actually then showing me now that I've got the placement lines for where my fabric should be and then the red lines for where my stitch is going to be. I can change my seam allowance, so if I increase that, it actually has got 6.35 millimeters as the 1/4 of an inch, so it's giving you that exact seam allowance as well. So all you have to do is then line up your fabric. It makes it really, really easy to be accurate with this, so let's give that a go. So I've got my sublines. Be able to see them. The sun's just come streaming through. I can just about see everything. So if I lower my foot there, and I'm just going to lower the speed down on that. So I can do a securing stitch, and then we can go off. So I can then keep that green line on the edge, knowing that I am exactly where I should have started, 1/4 of an inch in on my beginning of that seam. Can be really handy for accuracy on patchwork and quilting, we think. So with the projector, that's kind of most of the features that you can really get into with the projection. Let's just go back onto our main screen here. Oh, that was on the grid line, wasn't it? We've got obviously all the things that in utility stitches, especially with like buttonholes as well. We've got a new and improved buttonhole foot, and so it's actually got the I think it's in here. We've got the stabilising plate built into the foot. There it is. And so the buttonholes on here are absolutely stunning. So much to fit in our accessory box. But it does all go in there. I was quite surprised actually that it does all go, which is great. So now we've got this the fabric feeding aid that's actually integral with the buttonhole foot, and again this uses the camera to actually measure the dots on here within this area. If we just pop this on, I'll show you a quick buttonhole because they are quite impressive. We could do this on this kind of wadded area, that's not going to be a problem. I'll pop this on first. So there isn't any lever for you to actually bring down for your buttonholes now. It's all done with the camera. Okay, slip that on. So if I pop my button in here, my imaginary button, make a nice generous size, and then on here let's select, we've got so much to choose from. Let's go for one of these ones. There we go. So it's taken off the projector because what it's going to do now is be looking at these dots because it knows we're on the buttonhole mode. So literally we can just press play and it's going to do it exactly as we want. We can adjust the width and the length, the slit length as well. Everything's there that we can adjust, but let's see this in action. So I'll pop the foot down. There we go, the camera's seeing the length of the button. And it will constantly adjust the speed all by itself, and you put it up to the maximum that you want to be going, but it'll actually adjust it as it's going through the motions of the buttonhole. And that goes for all of the other stitches as well when it's doing the, it's always adjusting itself. Lovely. Really precise. I was really impressed with these. Gorgeous buttonholes. And really so simple to do because there's no lever to remember about. Everything's controlled by the camera. So that's just another obviously not really a quilting focused thing, but I think for dressmakers as well, or people who do a combination of all types of sewing, they're going to find that this has got a lot of using that camera, the extras that you're going to be able to get is really, really useful. So I think for sewing, really, that's kind of about it. There's a lot of settings on here that we did put on automatically, such as the automatic fabric thickness sensing and things like that when we set up the machine. But you can set this up as you wish, really. But for now, we're going to get it involved in some of the embroidery, and we'll see you again very, very soon. If there's anything else really specific you want to know about the sewing side, let us know. We did look at the unboxing and changing the needle plate, because we do have the straight stitch needle plate available with this too, so check that out on our other video. It's so easy to change. Yeah, it's getting really good to get into it. It's very impressive so far. I look forward to learning more, and hopefully you will too. So let us know if there is anything else you want to see, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.